The Colorado Boulder football team upset TCU in the first game of the season. Colorado Boulder had been heavily hyped since the arrival of Coach Prime, but almost all the critics doubted that they live up to the hype. When they were set to play TCU, the team that made it to the national championship last year, everyone believed they'd get a reality check.
Coach Prime's team is a 20.5-point underdog.
So how did they pull off a shocking upset? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how Colorado Boulder upset TCU and how you can upset any opponent you face. In 2022, the Colorado Boulder football team finished the season with a horrendous 1-11 losing record. This was one of the worst seasons in program history, as they lost all but 3 games by at least 25 points. Colorado was in desperate need of a fresh start, so when they had the opportunity to hire Coach Deion Sanders, they took it. Deion Primetime Sanders is a former NFL player who's won 2 Super Bowls. After retiring, he took up coaching and coached the HBCU Florida State to their first undefeated season in school history. But with the lack of resources at HBCUs, he was looking for a change at the same time Colorado Boulder was, so it was a perfect fit. He brought with him a load of top recruits who all wanted to play for him. He also brought in a ton of media coverage since he was a household name. But although he was a great NFL player, and although he had some of the best recruits in the nation, no one thought he would be as good of a coach as he was a player. And despite the new recruits, no one thought he could rebuild such a horrible program, especially in the first season. When their first game was scheduled against TCU, the runner-up in last year's national championship, everyone saw this game as a great way to put an end to the Colorado Boulder hype. No one gave them a chance of even coming close. But this is what Coach Prime said in the lead-up to the game.
We're going to dominate. Not only are we going to dominate, and we're going to look good doing it.
This is what Coach Prime said in his pregame speech.
We ain't got next. We got now. We ain't coming no more. We here.
And this was what Coach Prime said at halftime.
We're going to beat them. They just saw the appetizer. You was a little apprehensive. You really didn't believe. But now you should.
Colorado Boulder went on to win the game 45-42, upsetting a football powerhouse and sending shockwaves across college football nationwide. So how did Colorado Boulder pull off this upset? After the game, starting quarterback shedeur Sanders had this to say.
I knew we was going to do this.
Colorado pulled off the upset because they believed they could. Coach Prime had been drilling into their heads to believe for months, and even had the word believe printed on all their gear. By the time they were tested, they all fully believed that they would win, so they did. When I became a coach, I realized what the power of belief could do. We had a championship game where we were against a team that talent for talent, player for player, were just objectively better than us. I quickly realized this after watching them warm up for just a few minutes. They had kids that were twice the size of my players, and their players were doing skills that my players could only do in their dreams. I noticed a couple of my players glancing over at their warm up as well, and I could tell my team was starting to get intimidated. But if I let them get intimidated, we would have lost the game before it started. So I sat them down, and I may or may not have lied to them. I told them that they can beat this team. I told them that those big players on that team aren't even very good, they're just big, and that all those fancy skills that the other team does are easy to defend. I told them that if they play their best, they're better than that team. Now, to be honest, I was really just saying stuff. That team was way better than us. I just wanted to give them enough hope to at least get them on the field so that they wouldn't turn around and go home. But after I finished my speech, somehow they believed it. They started talking about how they could beat that team and the trophy they'd get if they won. They ran onto the field with excitement, while in my head, I was mentally preparing myself to watch my team get massacred. But something crazy happened. My team started to play like they were better than that team. They were no longer scared of those big players, or those players who could do fancy skills. And they were playing the best they had all season, doing things they'd probably only done once or twice in their life. And when I tell you I was shocked more than anyone else that we ended up winning. And it was all because they believed that they could. If you want to boost your belief, a powerful way to do this is through affirmations. The entire preseason leading up to their first game, Coach Prime told them over and over how good they were and made them say that they believed daily.
I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe.
So if you're facing a seemingly impossible task, write or say I believe or I am statements repeatedly. The first time you state a new affirmation, it might just sound like a straight up lie, and it might just be. But if you continue to state these affirmations over and over, it's only a matter of time until it's ingrained in your subconscious, and it actually becomes true. Your words are the gateway to doing the impossible. If you tell yourself something is possible, then it is.